Hi everyone, it's Catherine here at Cat v Stitches and welcome to my Flosstube channel all about cross stitch. It is Monday the 10th of April, or otherwise known as Easter Monday or the bank holiday here in the UK, so I am not at work, thank God, but it is a typically rainy day here in the UK. It always seems to be on bank holidays. Pretty much going to rain, so I am very happy that I followed my instinct and took my dog for a walk first thing this morning, because with the weather as it is now she would not be going out for a walk now. You know, I'll take her out when it's raining, but when it's absolutely pouring down, no, she's got no chance. So glad we got that over and done with this morning. What I did think I would do today is come on and give you an update of all the stitching I've been doing in the past. I think it might be about 5 weeks now, if I'm honest, since my last Flosstube, and show you what I've done and, spoiler alert, what I have finished and fully finished. So yes, there has been finishing going on here in the in my household, but I also thought what I would do is kind of split this video into two. I'd do my stitching up front for any of you that's just interested in what stitching I've been doing, and then the second half I'd do kind of like a stitch with me, where I'd go into what's been going on in my life in the last 5 weeks and what happened at the brilliant stitching retreat I went to a couple of weeks ago, the Essex Needle Retreat. I know some people have already done update videos on that and how it went, and everybody pretty much has been saying the same thing, that it was just done brilliantly. Elaine, or Elliewelliestitchers, and Teresa, who also organised it, they did an amazing job, and considering this was my first ever stitching retreat, it was just an amazing experience, and one that I am hoping to have again in September, and fingers crossed next year as well. But anywho, like I said, I'll do more of life updates and all of that in the second half of the video. For this one though, I will just get straight onto it and get on with my stitching. So, oh, and by the way, for any new people watching the video, hello, welcome. My name's Catherine. As I said, I live here in the northwest of the UK with my 5 cats and a dog. Yes, I am mad, but they are actually all leaving me alone at the moment, which is a bit of a miracle, although this is actually my 3rd attempt at this, because my other cat, one of my cats, Sasha, who normally makes an appearance, did her usual thing as soon as she heard me talking, which was jumping up and trying to, sometimes I think it's on purpose, but basically trying to knock over the tripod that's got my phone on, so I had to banish her out because she was just being extra today. But they're all kind of settled down now. Today has been a bit of a weird day anyway, because my plan had been to take it easy today. I was just, I've spent the last 2 days at my mum's house going through a very long list of jobs that she needed doing, so I'm actually quite shattered today. So my plan had been today just to take it easy, do this video, do a little bit of a stitch with me, and then do nothing else. But because I'm not really someone who can just sit still and do nothing, I can't lie in. Once I'm awake, I'm up, and I have to get up every day, not just for the dog, but also I have a diabetic cat, blah blah blah, and so I have to be up quite early to feed and sort them out, and then I can't get back to sleep, so lie-ins I can't do, and then I find it difficult to just sit around and do nothing. I certainly can't go back to sleep. So I was walking the dog and I was thinking, you know what, I need to reorganise my spare room / office / craft room. So you know what, I think I'll do that. So that is what I've been doing today, which is why that area there is still looking a little bit messy, because I still need to sort out what's happening on those shelves. But on this side of the room, total change. But what it has done is meant that I've now got a lot more sun coming in, well, sun in this country, but more light coming in now onto my desk and everything, so it's just better. A bit of a backstory, basically there's a window just here, and this is my desk, and there was a plot of land just out there that had been it's an odd shaped plot. So when houses were built on that area. So there's houses around it, but it's kind of like a triangle shape. It's just weird shape. And then somebody bought it and decided to buy a house. But what it basically means is that house faces really directly into my house and all my rooms on this side of the house. So while they've been building it, and over the past couple of years, it's taken them years to build this house and they're still not finished. But anyway, there'd be people working there, I'd be working there, and they could see right in. So I put up some shelves here to block them from being able to see me, but it also blocked the light, blah blah blah. I finally got blinds on the window. They're not even in that house yet, so I just decided to open the whole thing up so I got a bit of light. And yeah, I know I've just rambled on that, and normally I would just stop and maybe restart this, but I can't be arsed now because I've already done this a couple of times. So sorry about that backstory, but that is what I've been doing today. And now I'm even more shattered. But I feel better. I feel better for it, basically. So when I start work tomorrow, it'll just be lighter, brighter, and I'll feel more settled. But moving on, let us finally get to that bloody stitching. My plan last time was to finish 3 things, 3 specific pieces that were maybe not practically finished, but they were finishable if I just spent maybe a week or so on them. And they were the Elliewelliestitcher Supernatural, Prairie Moon, 2 Martini Witches, and Plum Street, let me just double check, it was Eat Crow. So I really wanted to finish those 3 things. Now, me and plans normally, for anybody who's been watching my channel for a while, and hello all my repeat viewers, thank you very much, I will insert in here, I will digress slightly. I am so sorry I have not been as good as I normally am with comments and things like that, but things have just been a little all over the shop in life at the moment. So please know that they have all been read, and I have been hearting them to let you know, but I am so sorry that I've not been able to do my normal full response to you. I am planning on getting back to doing that, so I apologise, but please know that all comments are welcome and appreciated, because I have such people who comment on my videos are such lovely people, and I always feel guilty that, especially over the past couple of months, I've not really been responding properly to them, so I apologise, but thank you. And any new people, please know that I do normally respond to videos, but if I've hearted it, I've definitely read it and appreciated it. And if you fancy subscribing and liking, that is also very welcome, but not necessary. Anywho, stitching, finally, let's get to the stitching, Catherine. It's 8 minutes in and I've not shown any stitching yet, but I have told you a lot about the reorganisation of my room. Stitching, yes, plans, finish those 3 things, and guess what? I only bloody did it. Finished all 3 of them, and not only finished them, but I fully finished them, plus fully finished another thing as well. So I am incredibly chuffed at this, and yeah, I'm just ecstatic to the point now that I don't know what to do next, but I have finally stuck to a plan I have made. Point I was going to make a second ago before I got distracted about comments was, for anybody who normally watches my videos, you know that I will make a plan and then it just goes off the rail, and I very rarely stick to it, because rather like my videos, I'm all over the shop at the moment. So for me to actually sit down and stick to these plans has been a miracle in itself. People at work would be shocked at how I am outside of work with my inability sometimes to stick to plans, because at work I'm very, this is the plan, I can be flexible for things, but if this is what needs to be done, this is what needs to be done, because I certainly don't carry that out in my real life, in life outside of work. But I did it, I stuck to the plans, and here we go. So the first one, which is the closest to me, is my Supernatural one by the Elliewelliestitcher, and anyone at the Essex Needlework Retreat who either came to speak to me or was on my table knew that I actually took this to the Essex Needlework Retreat because I wanted to. I took a couple with me actually, but I ultimately ended up just stitching on this and got a ton done actually, which I'm very surprised at because I did get a lot of talking done as well, but I also got quite a bit on this done, and I have now fully finished it, and here it is in all its glory. I am so happy. I basically did the bulk, so I'd already done all the border, all the black work, so all of these borders, all of the wording, all the black stitching I had done already. So when I went to the Essex Needlework Retreat, I basically started filling in all the colours and any black etoile. So there is quite a bit of etoile in here, and so like all the reds are etoiles and a lot of this green is etoile. In this light, unfortunately, it doesn't show up brilliantly, but please know in real life it really does sparkle nicely. But so I got this done at the retreat, and I finished this in the week after, and I am just absolutely loving it. And then I fully finished it. It's just got some backing on it, and it hangs up like this. But since I'm not the best with my sewing machine, I'm actually quite proud of how straight I managed to get everything on it and how cool it looks. And it is the twin to the other one the Elliewelliestitcher did. Let me see if I can get these both in, which is Cryptids. So I now have the two of them done and dusted and finished. So they are pretty much the same. I'm so happy I managed to get them. Sorry, you might not be able to hear me then, I do apologise. So yeah, so there's Cryptid and there's Supernatural. I got them sized pretty much the same, and I am just so happy with how these turned out. It's just a very simple finish, but I think that's all I needed, and they just look amazing next to each other. Just so happy. I just love it. I really do. When it was over, when I'd finished it, I was actually a little bit sad because I'd really enjoyed stitching on this. I really enjoyed picking out which etoile to use and the end result. So yeah, very happy with that. That has brought me joy. So let me just pop them up here for 1 second, get them out of the way. Excuse me, excuse my bum. There we go. So yeah, very happy with that. Yeah, just ignore how they look up there. That I've got to decide where to put them yet. But they are, both of them obviously it's using the same material. They're done on 28 count Picture This Plus Valor, which is one of my favourite colourways from Picture This Plus. It's a great neutral. God, my stomach's rumbling. I used mainly the called for DMC, but what I did, as I mentioned, is I just swapped in etoile left, right and centre. So what I would do is on the normal DMC thread I would do that 2/2, but using etoile I would do that 3/2 just to make it really pop. I found using 2/2 it's just a little bit too sparse, whereas 3/2 is just, it just hits the sweet spot on 28 count. And to be honest, I've done it on 32 count as well. Anything higher than that and it's the, you know, I'd go back to the 2/2. But no, I am just so chuffed with that. I'm glad that I got the finishing done and dusted because I could see that that would just, oh no, here comes the cat. Hello sweetheart. So this is Sasha. Are you going to let me pick you up so you can say, there she is. Hello sweetheart. There you go. So that's my black cat, Sasha, sorry. So yeah, so it would just been left hanging up somewhere and not finished for a while because like I said, I'm a bit scared of my sewing machine. I know I had this conversation with Stitchy Rach, that's her Flosstube channel, at the needlework retreat. She was one of the lovely ladies on my table, and I'll go into that more in the next part of the video, but she feels the same as me. She has a kind of love-hate relationship with her sewing machine as well. So for me to actually get it out and do that, I was actually quite impressed. So that's the first of my finishes. The next of my finishes is my Prairie Moon. Now, this I have laced up and put in this frame, but then I realised that I'd measured things slightly wrong, but I'm not adjusting it yet because I'm perfectly happy with how it looks, and I'm about to create a wall in this room that's just going to be for my Prairie Moon one. So when I finally do that, I'll take a picture and put it on Instagram, but I'm more than happy with this. So this is 2 Martini stitches. Ta-da! Oh, love it. So this is using all the called for, and I blame entirely for my love of Prairie Moon. I blame Erin of Erin 2 Martini Stitches, because she got me into Prairie Moon because she's been stitching this one, and I just saw it, loved it. So Erin, it's your fault. Saw it, looked on their website and saw all the Crypt Club patterns and just fell in love with them. So this is the latest one I have done, and this is my 5th one now. And I've finished them all exactly the same way in these black frames. They're all using exactly the same colour, and this is actually the call for fabric. It's Picture This Plus, and it's Haunted. This is 28 count. Now if I'd have started these now, I would have done them on 32 count, but the very first one I did was right towards the start of my stitching career when I was only doing 28 count because that's all I felt brave enough to do. But I don't care, to be honest. They still look really good, and I'm just ultra happy with this one. I just love it. I love the colours, love everything about it. These were an absolute bitch to do because there's a ton of stitching in them, but once I got, so I'd done, basically the last time you saw this, I'd done most of this half. So I did the table, did all of this witch here and this, everything else I'd already done. But yeah, so this is finished. But let me very quickly, I know I might have shown you this before, but because I love them all so much, I'll just show you the others that I've done as well in this, so I can enable others to do these. So that was 2 Martini Witches. Then we've got the first one that I did, and this is the one that I fell in love with. And actually, it's not just, so I saw Erin first doing the 2 Martini Witches, and then as a kind of sign, I saw, this was Christmas, not this Christmas, I think it might have been the Christmas before, or possibly the Christmas before that, a couple of years ago anyway, Pam and Steph, on their, you know, they do a seasonal wall behind them when they do their videos, and it was Christmas, and I think it was Steph had done this one, and this is Merry Xmas. And this, I substituted a toile for the decorations on here. Again, you can't see it very well in this light, but it does look really good in real life. So this was the first one I did, and this is what, you know, absolutely love this one. I did this one first because it was around Christmas time and I wanted to have at least one Christmas pattern on my wall, and this basically fits my sensibilities to a key. So love it. So that's that one. Oh, the cat is going back crap crazy behind me here. Then there is this one. There we go, that's Stitch Night. This is the smallest one that I have, and I just love this little thing here of one of the witches. Love it. So there's that one. So that's Stitch Night. Again, all of these are on 28 count Haunted, using the call for. Now this has quickly become one of my favourites. This is Zombies. I just love this. There we go. Yep. And then we have Last Tango. This was another one that was an absolute you-know-what to stitch, but the end result is just amazeballs. So there we go. So these are all the ones I have done now. So these, as I said, I'm going to put on my wall. And the next one I'm going to do, because I always have to have one of these on the go. This is in my Love You More bag, which I felt was very appropriate for these. So the next one I'm going to do is Bite Night. So there we go. So yeah, that's that one finished. And I have all of my threads that I've used for all of these, and I just, now I say I use the call for threads. I will use the closest to the call for threads if it's not one that I've already got. So there we go. So these threads are being well used, shall we say. Just pop that back in there. Sorry for the crinkling. Okay, so my final finish. Now this one was a stretch to finish, and I am so happy with the end result of this. So I have stitched up the Plum Street. It's kind of like a series of 2 patterns. There was Buzz Off, which I'd already finished. I hadn't FFO'd, but I'd finished it, and Eat Crow, which is his mate. And for a while I'd struggled with how I wanted to fully finish it when I did them, because I knew I wanted them together because they go together really well. So I struggled with what to do, and then I thought, you know what, I could do a flat fold, but instead of it there be 2 flat folds, one each, I could do them on the same flat fold and have one on each side. But I was like, I struggle with any artsy stuff. I'm not, or crafty stuff. I am not the best. When God was handing out those skills, I was in the toilets. I wasn't even at the back of the queue. I wasn't even in the queue. So, excuse me, sorry. I struggle at these kind of things. So, but I knew I finished stitching this, and I knew I wanted to get this one finished. And it would also be very good practice for when I finish another piece that I'm going to show you in a minute that I've been stitching on, which I want to do as a tri-fold. So I thought, come on, put your big girl pants on, let's do this. So I did it, and I am so happy with how it turned out. So here we go. So here is, let me show you this way first. This is Eat Crow. So Alison, if you're watching, so Alison was another lovely lady at the retreat, and basically what I did is we played this game of like Pass the Parcel on our table, a very funny version of Pass the Parcel, and my prize that I contributed was the 2 patterns, the 2 Plum Street patterns, because they were pristine, because I basically scanned them and used and put them on my GoodNotes on my iPad, and so all of my patterns, or paper patterns, are always pristine. So I thought, well, somebody would really enjoy this. So Alison won these. So this is what they both look like. Alison completed. So this is Eat Crow, which is just brilliant. So this is beeswax. I think it's R&R. It's the called for 36 count, and the called for Weeks Dye Works. So that's the one that I had just finished, and this is the other one in the pattern. This is Buzz Off. Now I am just a tiny little bit disappointed, because this is supposed to be the same as this, but it's a different dye lot now, unfortunately. I didn't, I ran out, because this was used so much, I ran out on this one, and I had to get a new one, and it's a slightly less vibrant colour, but it still looks great. I still absolutely love it. So there we go. So there is Eat Crow, and there is Buzz Off, and this is the flat fold. So I don't know if you can see the colour that I decided to use just goes so well with it. And I basically got a piece of foam. I put the 2 patterns on foam board, or foam, what's it called? I think it's foam board or foam card, whatever it is, from Hobbycraft, and I laced them. But I tried to be very deliberate and neat with the lacing, and then I stuck cardboard on the back as you would normally do it with a flat fold, but just had to do slight bits of adjustment because it is slightly different than a normal flat fold. Basically adapted the Vorna Pfeiffer tutorial on how to do them. Put my little thing at the bottom here to hold it open. And I was going to put something around the edges, but then when I'd finished it and I glued it down and weighted it down and then took it out the next day, it's actually done the edges so neatly that I don't need to put anything on it, and it looks just absolutely fine without anything round it, so I am so happy. By sheer happenstance, accident, luck, whatever you want to call it, it's turned out really neat and I am so happy. So depending how I'm feeling that day, I'll either have Eat Crow showing, or I will have, just put it on here so you can see it standing up, I'll either have Buzz Off or I'll have Eat Crow. And the funny thing is I did this, so I'd laced Buzz Off at, I'd gone to my mum. This was this was the weekend after the retreat. I was at my mum's house and I just decided to lace this one. So that one was laced up. So then I came upstairs one evening, it was about 10 p.m. and I thought, you know what, I'll just lace up Eat Crow. It doesn't take, I'm so used to doing lace ups now on these, I can do them really, really quickly. I've actually got lacing up down to a fine art now. But then I finished it and I thought, while I'm here, while I've got the iron out, why don't I iron the material to do this, you know, to glue on so it's ready? And then I thought, you know, I've done this now, why don't I just cut out the board? So the board's cut out and I can do that tomorrow. Then I cut the board out and I was like, well, why don't I just do it? Half an hour later, I'd only sodding done it. So yeah, so I'm very happy with that. This is, you know, all three of them, but this especially, because this really, you know, I was really a bit worried about how this would turn out. But now having done this, I am totally easy about how I'm going to finish this other piece that I will discuss with you now. So I'll just pop that down there and let's bring out the next thing that I've stitched on. And wouldn't you know, I've not got the sodding pattern with me. Oh, ay carumba, have I forgotten that? Right, I'm going to pause this. I'm not going to insert anything in, I'm not going to do any editing, but I'm going to quickly pause this and I'm going to get the picture, or yeah, I'll go and get the pattern so I can show you what it looks like, because I have completely forgotten it. So I'll be 1 second. Hey, okay, that was a little bit more than a second for me because my dog was quite literally giving me the puppy dog eyes, so I had to give her a little bit of a belly rub. Okay, so the pattern I'm talking about is Cricket Collection Sleepy Hollow. I mentioned this last time as well. I have seen this done. Crafting Kirsty has done this as just one long thing, one big thing, and it looks amazing, and I got to see it in real life at the needlework retreat and it just looked brilliant. But I am doing it as this, as a trifold like this, and I've already done the middle portion and I'm currently working on this bad boy here and that roof there, which is, no, wrong one, that one there. I am working on this one, so yeah, so that's lots of fun. Still in the Q-snap, because I was actually working on this at my mum's this weekend, and I am using the called for, it's a Weeks Dye Works called London Fog, and there we go. So I have made the brave decision to do this to get maximum variegation, so I'm doing one cross at a time, going across and back, across and back. So yeah, so that's lots of fun, but I am loving the effect of that. And it's actually, once you get into it, it goes quite quick, and I've done a good portion of that roof now, so hopefully I should get that finished soon. But I just thought, just get it out of the way, get it done, and then you can do the rest of the fun stuff on this. So I think last time you saw this, I'd maybe just done a couple of rows of this, so I have done the rest. I have worked on the rest of that, and this is what I'm going to be doing my Stitch With Me on. I'll be doing this. So that is pretty much all the stitching. I mean, I've done a tiny little bit on the, in fact, I won't insert the picture because I've forgotten to bring this up. I've just literally done maybe these 3 little things here on this Carolyn Manning one. This one I'm going to do a bit more work on as well. But I really want to get the roof done here. It's like the Lindy Stitches Mary Mary one again, that massive apron that's on there, or skirt that's on there, that's all just one huge chunk of colour. So I want to get this done so it's not dragging on like the Mary Mary fiasco. I mean, that looks stunning once it's done, but I chosen to do that as, sorry, this is done on 28 count. It's a fabric I've dyed myself. It was just a cream as well. I got 28 count that I just attempted to do a dye job on, and actually it does look quite good. That's quite close to its actual colour, that actually. There you go. But yeah, I thought, no, in this case I'm going to just get the painful bit done, and I'll have to do it on this roof as well. That's pretty much the same as well. That's going to be a bit of a pain, but yeah. So no, I'm very happy with that. And with regards to plans for the next month, I have none. I think I have exhausted myself sticking to those plans, and that's probably me for another year now. I think it's just going to be the old sweewee, you know, stitch what you want when you want. Okay, one plan is possibly get the roof done on this. So let me say that over the next few days, just get this roof done. If I decide to carry on stitching with it, I'll carry on stitching with it. If not, I'll just stitch on something else. But I did definitely want to get those 3 done, and I am over the moon that they're done. As for new starts, possibly 1 or 2 new starts. Start another Plum Street, maybe. Do another of these. Start the new Prairie Moon one, that bite night. But now we'll come to the purchases that I've made, because, you know, I went to the needlework retreat, so obviously purchases did occur. There were 2 stores that were there. So Hawkins Hobbies and Coffee Craft Fabrics. So I did buy a couple of things from each of them, but there was also a lovely lady there who is an actual viewer, so she is watching. Gemma, hello. She totally enabled me to Gemma, who is What a Floss Up on Instagram. She enabled me on this one because she had recently bought this Boffy Threads. There you go. It is called Gossamer Slipper, because I was talking about backstitch and how it's my enemy, and I'm not the best at backstitch, and I really do need to practice it more, to be honest, especially with my long dogs and things like that. You know, sometimes I am a bit scared of backstitch, because if you don't do it well, it can look a bit dodgy. And then she was saying, oh, she's got this pattern that's all backstitch. Well, then I saw the pattern and I just fell in love with it. So what I need to message you, Gemma, and we need to organise when we're going to start this. But anyway, yeah, so I did actually go on Amazon straight away and I bought this. So that's not quite a needlework retreat purchase, but it's a retreat adjacent purchase. I was enabled at the retreat. So the other things I bought, let's do the patterns first of all. Now, as I was looking at what people were stitching, I noticed all of these people stitching these amazing fancy ladies, and I've always been a little bit scared of doing the fancy ladies because the faces, I could just see that I'd be terrible at doing faces, because again, my dread of backstitch. And when it comes to the fancy ladies, so you know, your Nora Corbett's and things like that, if you get the face wrong and the backstitching wrong, it can not ruin it, but it can, you know, you have to have several attempts at it, and I can just see that being my downfall. So I was going around the room looking at all these amazing ones that a lot of the women had done, and when I went up to look at the patterns that had been bought by Hawkins Hobbies, she had a lot of the Nora Corbett ones, and they don't actually have like faces. They have like the shape of it, but they don't have features. So I already had one, which is, what's this one called again? Minerva. I already had this one, and then while I was flicking through things, actually had these two that just called to me. So let me just find them both. So there is Spellbound, which purple is my favourite colour, so that one was just amazing. So this is Nora Corbett. And then Sea Witch. Now these two are kind of of alike, so to speak, so I thought they would look amazing together. Another lady had actually picked this one up and she very kindly allowed me to have it, so there was not a fight for it. She very kindly, so you know, let me take that one. So yeah, so those are my two fancy ladies. They came as a full pack. I didn't want the fabric that was with it. Whitchy fabric and I have a bit of a history, so I decided to actually use this as an excuse to buy fabric from, as I said, again, sorry, I want to make sure I get this name right because the fabric was lovely. It is, oh, my memory, I'm telling you, madness. Coffee Craft Fabrics. It's Megan, who also says she watches my video. So hello Megan, how are you? Your fabric is gorgeous. So I bought a couple of pieces. Let me just find them. So I bought the one that potentially I'm going to use on this, which is this lovely 32 count linen. I also bought this amazing purple one and this one. So these are all 32 count linen. I'm not going to take them out of the package. You can see that colour really well. That is very much to life. But I thought this one would go really well with the two fancy ladies. It's perfect size for them both as well. So yeah, so those were my purchases, as in official purchases from the shops that were there. But there was also a table there of you know, things that people had bought to either give away or to sell, and I picked up a couple of things from there. So the first thing I got was this drawn thread one. This was Welcome Winter. It was just a lovely one, and I do love drawn threads. So there's Welcome Winter. And now somebody had brought in a full set of etoile to sell, and I was like, well, I'm an etoile lady, so I grabbed that up as soon as I saw it. I can't believe it took me like till the towards the end of the second day to actually notice it was there, and that nobody else had picked it up by some miracle. But yeah, these are mine. These are they were all unused, a full set of etoile. So that goes in my etoile bag now, where all my other etoile ones are. So I was very happy with that. And then in the past parcel one, I won these lovely little patterns, and I think Crafty Kirsty said these had come from her, and these are lovely fragments in time. So it's the alphabet, yeah, so I won't go through all of them, but the little alphabets from Fragments in Time. So this is Summer House Stitchworks, and these are ever so gorgeous. So she says I wouldn't go through them, and then I went through them all. Well, there you go. So I was very happy with that. Now, outside of this, I also got my monthly fabric from Chromatic Alchemy, and it is this glorious purple haze. So again, a 32 count. That's really my preferred one at the moment, 32 count. So yeah, so that was my, I think I've covered everything. Let me just double check. Oh my god, if my stomach is being picked up on this video, I am so sorry. It is growling like crazy. I think, yes, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, apart from one thing that I think I mentioned this in the last video, and for the life of me I can't remember if I actually showed you this, and I couldn't be asked going back through the video to check, but since it's so glorious I thought I'd show it again. This is the bag I purchased from the sewing shop. It's Kaylee. She has her own Flosstube channel called Kaylee Tent Stitch. She's that on Instagram as well. She does these amazing full coverage pieces where on a lot of them she will dye the fabric herself, so she doesn't have to do the background, but the dye she does, it's like artwork. They're so nice, and she very kindly a while ago gifted me some pieces of fabric as well. She's a very talented lady, but she makes these lovely project bags. So basically any project that I'm currently working on, I now put in these bags. I'll put in this bag and have it by the side of me so the dog can't get anywhere near them. But it's this lovely, look at this. It just, I had to. Look at that. And the inside of it there, and it's this vinyl front here. It's absolutely lovely. So I was very happy with that. She had a sale where basically postage was free, and since it was coming from, I think is it Canada? I had to partake in that, so yeah, absolutely lovely. Very happy with that. So that is all my stitching, my finishing, my fully finishing, and my purchases. So I am going to end this portion of the video. I'm going to go downstairs now because my dog was sat at the bottom of the stairs looking up at me going, why are you not down here? And my cats are up here going, why are you up here? So I'm going to pack all of this up, move it downstairs, and I am going to do a little bit of a stitch with me where I will go through what happened, well, what's been going on over the past couple of weeks and the Stitchy retreat. So I'll see you in the next portion. Oh, no, sorry. I meant to say, if anybody is just watching this portion, thank you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Have a lovely April. I hope everybody, all you and yours are all safe and well, and I will see you soon. And for anybody that's sticking around, I'll see you in a second. Okay, everybody, I am back. I have grabbed something very quick and unhealthy to eat, just to stop my stomach from growling. I have the dog next to me, so if you hear what sounds like some chewing noises, it's because, well, gnawing noises I should say, it's because she is quite literally gnawing on a bone beside me here. So yeah, I apologise for that. I have also taken some stuff out of the washing machine and then had to chase the dog around because I dropped a sock, and they are quite literally her favourite thing of mine to steal and chew on. So I have to be really careful because she's got through so many pairs of socks, it's untrue. But let's proceed. So a quick reminder, I am stitching on Cricket Collection, Sleepy Hollow, and I'm currently working on this building here. So I hope that this is clear, and I want everybody to please ignore my gnarly nails, but this is 2 days of doing jobs both in and out of the house at my mum's house have basically just ruined my nails. Well, not that I had amazing nails in the first place, but the nails I did have are now ruined. So let us proceed with this. Let me just get my pattern up. I will just do this, start off this first stitch, and then I will commence with the chit chat. Okay, I am really sorry if this is picking up my dog, but literally this is the thing that's keeping her quiet, or for the time being keeping her from annoying me. So I basically then just done a loop start for when you're not, for when you've got two separate threads, because you're trying to get maximum variegation and you're using two strands. So I learnt that from, I think it was Stitchy Rach, Danielle at Stitchy Rach. I saw her doing various different ways of starting it, and I'm pretty sure it was from her I learnt that little trick, but it's a really good one. Right, here we go. We're off. Have I got my drink near me? Yes, I have my drink near me, and I will again apologise if you can hear the dog. God. Maybe it was not the best idea to give her that particular bone, but she was so good while I was filming the rest of the video upstairs that I had to give her a treat. These are the lovely little scissors I use. Okay, so let's get started with this. What has been happening over the past month? Well, I think it pretty much can take it from when I was going to the retreat. The lead up was actually a little bit stressful because right, so we have to back it up a year to the very first Essex needlework retreat, organised by the amazing Elaine from Elliewelliestitcher and Teresa from Teresa Littlestitcher, who I actually got to meet in person, and they're both absolutely lovely, but I digress. So last year I had booked to go on, sorry, I knocked my pat in there, let me a second. I had booked to go on the very first Essex needlework retreat, paid for it. I was incredibly excited, and my cat, or one of my cats, oh sorry, just knocked the cat, oh hang on, the dog has handed me the bone. So it has a filling in it, and when it gets to a point where she can't quite reach for it, she hands it to me to get the filling out for her, because she is lazy that way. Sweetheart, what have I done with the scissors? So she is basically going to bug me now until I get her this marrow from out of here. No, you'll have to get it out yourself, darling. I've not got my scissors to do it. Oh well, we'll have to see if she settles. If not, I might have to pause this and come back. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so she got, my cat, one of my cats got diagnosed with diabetes, and what that means is injections twice a day. And even if I could have found a cattery at that point that would have taken her, she was right at the start and she wasn't yet stable, and anything could have happened. You know, they hadn't found the correct dosage for her. So I had to basically cancel the retreat, and I was absolutely gutted. I was just absolutely gutted because I'd been so looking forward to going. So when they organised it again for March, I knew I had to book myself on. I knew I had to book myself for it. But again, there was the issue of I needed to make sure I could get a cattery who would take a diabetic cat. And also, you know, I had a dog as well by that point. So, I mean, but that was easy, finding a kennel for the dog. That's very easy. So after phoning around many catteries, I finally found one who said, yep, it's absolutely no problem. They have an ex-veterinary nurse, and they are absolutely fine giving cats injections. So I booked my cat in there, paid my deposit. I also booked my dog into some kennels, and everything was absolutely fine. So then I just left it, and then it came to literally the week of the retreat. So the retreat, I was going to be driving down on the Friday, and I think it was something like the Tuesday, I phoned up the cattery just to check some things with them about what time they'd be able to give injections, so I could make sure that you know, I was giving her injections around that time as well. So say, for example, I normally inject her about 8 o'clock. So if they couldn't do it till 8:30, I could just, over the coming few days, change her timing slightly to match whenever they would be able to inject her. To be told, oh, right, yeah, we can't take her anymore. We no longer have anybody here who can give injections to cats. And bear in mind that I had actually booked this cattery months beforehand, like months beforehand, and they knew that I'd booked with them because they could give injections, because I remember the discussions I had with them about how I was just so happy that they would be able to do it, and they were like, no, it is not a problem at all, we'll note it down, blah blah blah. And the mere fact that they never bothered to call me to give me time to rebook her. I mean, what if I'd not phoned them? Anyway, moving on from that, you know, they let me know that they could no longer take her. So it was 3 days before the retreat. So I'm then having to phone round. And remember, I'd already done this, you know, phoning round all the catteries to find anybody that would take her. And it'd been a struggle to find this one. But I phoned up one cattery and they said, well, look, we can't, but have you tried this particular one? Have you tried them? They might be able to do it. So I phoned up this cattery. This is about the 5th one I called on that day. And I think they might have heard the desperation in my voice, and they were like, no, that's absolutely fine. We can, you know, we have experience dealing with all kind of medical issues, that's no problem. But not only were they a cattery, they're also a kennel. They also have stables there, so they take cats, dogs, horses and various other animals as well. So they were like, because I was, by this point I was having a conversation with the woman. She was like, well, you could bring the dog as well, because we've got spare kennels. And I mean, yes, I already had the dog booked somewhere else for a long weekend, but thank you. Sorry, just give me the bone again. Okay, hang on a sec. Sorry, people. I'm just going to see if I can get her a bit more of this so she will leave me alone. So, anyway, I was going to be having to take the dog to the kennels and then take the cat to the cattery, and it would have added on nearly an hour to the journey, to what was already going to be a long journey. So I just cancelled at the kennels that the dog was going to. They were very nice about it, and considering it was so short notice, but you know, that's what deposits are for, isn't it, really? So I cancelled her at the kennel, and I booked her in at this boarding place, and yeah, saved at the last minute, because otherwise I again would have had to cancel and I would have been absolutely devastated. So that was before, you know, that was the first bit of drama llama. But then there was the whole thing of, well, what do I take? I've never been on a retreat before. I was very lax in reading all the posts on all the Facebook posts about last year's retreat and how all of that went. So I was like, I really should have done a bit of research into all of this, because I didn't know what supplies to take and what the situation would be for lighting, for stands and whatnot, because I need all the help I can get when I'm stitching. You know, I have my Lowry stand here. This is my Lowry stand. I have a magnifying light. Well, I'm not using it at the moment because I've not got enough. It's here. I'm just using the lighting at the moment, and I've got some mag eyes on. But, you know, I have all of this kind of stuff. So, you know, I didn't know with the tables whether or not I'd need to use my proper Lowry stand, or if I could just use the table clamp, or if I would need to use my Velky Patoki stand. So I thought, right, I'm driving down. I'll just take it all with me and like leave it in the boot and just take in whatever I needed. So I packed for war. I mean, you know, the night before. Oh my God, the dog's coming back. This was such a mistake. What are you wanting? Let me, she's just, do you want me to hold that for a second? Right, I'm having to hold it for a second, people. I'm sorry about this. I packed for warfare, like literally everything and anything I could think of got packed. And that was before I even started sorting out for the animals, because I was packing my stuff for the retreat. I was then packing for the cat and the dog who were going to the boarding kennels, because for the cat obviously I had to take my own food to make sure she was eating the right food for the injections, and then sort the dog out, taking the dog bed and all of this kind of stuff to make sure she was comfortable. And yeah, so oh my God, it was a nightmare packing everything. And then, oh, there you go, she's taking it back off me now. And then I was packing for sorry, not packing, but then I was sorting out the 4 cats that were remaining at home and getting all their food sorted out, because I have these food timers. Not food timers, I had these pet feeders that have like timers on them, and they can go up to 48 hours. So I have a ton of them that I can leave out. So basically I can do, well, at a stretch I could do 3 nights, but I can do 2 nights comfortably with them. So I had to sort out all the food for that, get them positioned at the right places so that they didn't nick each other's food and all of this kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a campaign to get ready and actually out of the door. So, and I had a hard exit because I needed to get my cats at my cat and the dog at the boarding place for 9:30, which is when they accepting new animals, because you have to fill in, they're very good, you have to fill in all of this paperwork about their health and vets, you know, who the vet is, and you have to give them permission if anything happens for them to go to the vets and make decisions. And very, very good, you know, I was very impressed with it. And so I felt a lot better, although I still did have to, you know, she would have been due her first injection 8 PM on the Friday, so I still had to get a call to make sure everything went fine, which it did. But yeah, by the time I had sorted everything out in the morning, got everything in the car, my car was packed, by the way. You would have thought I was going on a 2-week holiday with a bunch of kids by the amount I had in my car. By the time all that was sorted and I had dropped the cat and the dog off at the kennels, I was absolutely exhausted. And then I had the nearly 4-hour drive down to Stansted Airport ahead of me. I mean, I don't mind driving, so it wasn't, you know, it wasn't too bad, but I was like, I already felt like I'd done a full day before I even started driving. But yeah, the next retreat I go on, I now know exactly what I need, which is basically a fraction of what I sent, what I took with me, because the table clamp for my Lowry worked brilliantly. I took my my magnifying light with me, and that worked perfectly as well. So I didn't need the full Lowry stand, I didn't need the Velky Patoki, I didn't need any of that. I just needed 1 bag and my stitching, and I was a happy little camper. And the rooms were great, the food was great. Now, rather mysteriously, however, I didn't drink any alcohol, which I was quite shocked at, because I was looking forward to, you know, a bit of drinking where, you know, there was no need to drive or anything like that. But I bought myself a drink that had the gin I like, which is the rhubarb and ginger gin with lemonade. Oh my God, don't put it on the stitching. This is what she does. When I give her one of these bones, I'll be stitching away and she just continually comes to me, and she knows now that if she leaves it on the corner here, I'll grab it straight off her. So I don't get any mess on my stitching, but she's figured that out. She's a clever little lady, this dog. She knows how to get my attention. there you go. Sorry. So I got myself a drink, started drinking it with all, you know, and didn't even get halfway through and I was like, yeah, I don't fancy this. Just was not in the mood. So I didn't drink anything else other than copious amounts of Diet Coke, which I'm a bit disappointed at, but never mind. But did a ton of stitching and met some lovely, lovely people. When I first arrived, the full retreat was Thursday evening to Sunday afternoon. So some people came down on the Thursday, I went on the Friday. And so a lot of people had already been there from the night before, were already settled in and had their spots, you know, spots taken and all of this. And so when I first arrived there, I just sat at a table where there was a couple of people. But within a few minutes, it was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay here. Now, it was nothing to do with the other people at that table because they were lovely. But it was the fact that I was right near the door. And I'm really like, well, not paranoid, but whenever I'm sat near a door, every time it opens or shut, not only are you getting a draft, but then I'm like constantly having to look because I'm a nosy bugger. So I'm constantly distracted by it. I hate it at work. I sit with my back to the door and every time somebody comes in, I just have to be nosy and look, and so I'm constantly getting distracted by it. So I knew I wouldn't be able to stay there. So Elaine happened to be coming by and I mentioned it and she was like, oh yeah, let's, you know, we'll see if we can find you somewhere else to sit. So she was going around to see where there was a spare space, and we found one at a table, and it was the table where by coincidence Rachel and Kirsty were. So this is Stitchy Rach and Crafty Kirsty, two absolutely lovely ladies whom I've been watching their videos for quite some time. I'll put the full details of the channel in the notes, but I absolutely love their videos, and I was like, oh my god, this is just perfect. And there were the other people on the table, so there was Alison, who was sitting across from me, who I just got on brilliantly with, and that's the Stitching Whippet on Instagram, and Gemma, who has actually seen some of my videos as well, which was lovely. Two absolutely lovely ladies, who, and I, you know, with everybody on the table, I just had a ball. I had Marie, who was sat next to me, who was stitching on this, one of the Autumn Lane Stitchery Santas. She was lovely. There was Penelope, there was Megan, who joined us later, and there was Janet Dodd, who just kept winning everything. It was actually quite funny. Anyone who went there will know what I'm talking about. It was the funniest thing ever. Just literally any of the games, be it bingo or, you know, anything else we were playing, she just kept winning. It was very amusing. So anyway, it was just such a delightful table, and I can honestly say that for the Friday, I was there, like I said, so it was the Friday and the Saturday. And then I left at about 12 p.m. Oh, she's back. Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, no, she's dropped. Sorry if things are wobbled there a bit. Oh, she got a bit desperate on that one. She literally threw it at me. It was the Friday, the Saturday, and then I left at about 12 p.m. on the Sunday, and there was not a dull moment in it. It was just brilliant. The company, you know, which always makes these things, the company was just so good, and I was so glad I did it. And there was times when, especially after what happened with my dad around Christmas, where I was like, I don't know if I really want to go. For a while I did have second thoughts, and I remember talking to my mum and one of my friends about it, and they basically said, no, you've got to do it. And then I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be such a fuss with the animals and everything. And excuse me, just having a quick drink there. And I'm so glad I didn't second guess myself and I went, because I had such an amazing time. And I'm already booked on for the next one, which is in September. And now that I have a cattery that I am happy with, so I'm booked on there. And I am possibly going to the one that they're doing next year as well. So yeah, very, very, very happy. Let me just get these threads out of the way. So there we go. So what I might do actually is do a little bit of stitching here to fill this in a little bit. Okay, so let's have a look. So yeah, so that was the retreat. 5 out of 5 for me, for both the organisation of it. Oh, excuse me, I'll move my feet a minute. For the hotel, for the people, for the entertainment, so to speak. So, you know, playing games and things like that. That way, it was just very funny. Yes, I spent a little bit of money purchasing a few things, but I do not regret it. And it was just such a great stress reliever. Yeah, so I was very happy with that. So the drive back was easier than the drive down, because now this is the great thing. So so Alison, like I said, one of the ladies that I met there, although she doesn't live around here now, but she used to live up here around the Bury area, and it was just, she used to even go to the same vets as she knew my vet, because we've both adopted animals from the same place, which is Bleakhold on here, and it was just so weird, all the coincidences, and it was just so. Will you now? Now she's attacking the camera. Come here. Oi, 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 oi. Here, here. Sorry, let me just sort this dog out again. There you go. Let's see if I can just quickly show you her. Can I do this? I won't be 1 minute. Let me just see. Will it let me? I don't know if it'll twist that way. No, it won't twist that way, unfortunately. Oh, hang on. There you go. Can you see? There she is. There's the little madam. Let me just pull you back. There you go. Okay. Let me tighten this again. But one of the things, sorry, there was a point to what I was saying there. Sorry, I'm just moving you again. There. Will you stop giving me this bone back? There's nothing left in it, darling. You're going to have to chew it yourself. Yeah, she basically told me about a better route to go home. Sorry, the dog getting distracting me there. Basically told me a better way home. So it was via the toll, but it was just an easier journey home than it was going down there. So I'll know next time I go a better route to get down. Oh, and I had a lovely walk down there as well. There was some woods near there. I went with Kirsty on the Saturday for a nice walk. It was quite nice weather, so I did at least do a little bit of exercise while I was there. I didn't just sit on my arse for the entire time. But yeah, so I got back. The animals at the kennels were absolutely fine. They had, you know, no problems. They enjoyed themselves. The cat was injected, you know, absolutely no issues there. But as with all things, something did go wrong about a week later, and it was my cat, the one who is diabetic. I need to start stitching, don't I? I'm sorry, I've got the dog here right next to me. She's demanding that I hold the bone while she chew it. Right, I'm going to give it up now. There you go. I need to do some stitching. Okay. Sorry, I know this is a stitch with me, but darling, I need to give you this back. Come on, there you go. There you go. Right. let me find my next colour, which is teal. Oh, she is just right here. Can you see her feet there? Sorry, peeps. There we go. So she's called Tabby, my diabetic cat, and she just suddenly went off her food. She just didn't want to eat. So it was Wednesday. So she'd eaten on the Wednesday, and then on the Thursday morning she was sick. And actually, well, let me make sure I got the days right here. No, sorry, it was I think it was the Saturday morning. She was sick, and nothing too dramatic. She was just sick, but then she didn't want to eat. So the problem is like I said, you know, she's diabetic, and I need to make sure she's eaten before I inject her. Otherwise, you know, you can have all those complications. So right, actually, what I am going to do is I'm just going to quickly pause this, because I'm just going to sort this dog out, because she's getting a bit insistent with this bone now, and she's not letting me stitch. So I'll be back in a mo. Okay, hi everybody. I've just had the dog just literally switch the camera off with her nose, and then I've just had to find something else to distract her. So sorry about that. So, right. Okay. The cat. It was Thursday she was ill. Thursday morning she was ill. I couldn't get her to eat the Thursday morning, and I couldn't inject her. And then actually I couldn't inject her. She ate a little bit on Thursday evening, and I kind of like injected half of her normal dosage, but I'd also called the vet up on the Thursday evening and said, look, just in case I can't get her to eat anything tomorrow morning, I can't inject her tomorrow, can I book an appointment for tomorrow afternoon? So this was on the Friday. So they were able to get me an appointment, and they said, well, look, if everything's fine, just cancel it, but if you do need it, you know, just come in. So as it turned out, what happened is I couldn't inject her on the Friday evening, which was a worry. Sorry, the Friday morning I couldn't inject her. She didn't want to eat anything. So I was really concerned. So I booked the appointment, and I decided, well, I'm going to have to keep that appointment. You know, I cannot see this. This colour is like the worst colour possible. Let me see, can I get that light in any more there? This is not a good colour. So, in fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to do a little bit more of this, because I think I can see that colour better. There we go, here's some more of it. Yeah, so couldn't get her to eat the Friday morning, so I couldn't inject her. So she'd basically missed 2 injections and just had half of one, and I couldn't really allow it to go another one where she missed. So I took her in the Friday, and they basically said, okay, leave her with us and we will do some blood tests, because they were worried that she was, there's something that builds up. It starts with a K. I can't remember what it is. But for diabetic cats, there's a real danger when they're not well and they're not, you know, getting injected, and they're unwell, of this building up, and it causes significant problems with the kidneys and various other things, and it can be quite dangerous. So anyone who's interested, this is how I do my start when I can't do the normal loop start because it's two loose things here. So you go down and you have your two ends there. You come up where you're starting. You don't have to have this much here, but I just like to make sure it's nice and secure. So just pull that down so you can still hold it. Then you go back down this hole here. So here's your loop. So there's your loop there. Then you come up at the top there. Pull it through like that. Make sure this is okay. Then you go back down again. Down the hole there again. And there's your loop. And then you just... Okay, hang on a sec. I knew it was too much to ask with this dog. She was nice and quiet initially, and especially while I was upstairs doing the other part of the video, but of course now she's got her second wind. Yeah, so there we go. So now I'm just stitching as I normally would, and as I'm going along I am securing this thread so it is nice and secure. There you go. So anywho, yeah, so they were really concerned about this building up in her system, but they did the blood tests and it came out absolutely fine, because nowadays they can do the blood tests in the vet's office and get results within 20 minutes. So she was, they did her bloods. There were no issues. In fact, it was showing a really good control for her, you know, for the diabetes, but maybe a little bit too good a control. So what they were thinking was that possibly one of the things that was happening is that her dose needed adjusting. So she was actually either going into remission for diabetes, or they needed to reduce the amount of insulin she was being given. So I would have to bring her in on the Monday to do a glucose curve with her. So that's where they just monitor on her blood levels throughout the entire day to see what's going on. But on the Monday, I was also going in with this little pain next to me, Poochie, to get her, is it spayed with female dogs? You know what I mean, done, so to speak. So that was fun, taking the two of them to the vets. They gave the cat an injection to stimulate her appetite so that I was able to give her insulin on the Sunday and the Saturday night. But I did actually learn something interesting. The insulin that my cat is on, it's actually a type where it's a slow release over 12 hours, whereas the other type, which is the one that they give dogs as well as it can be given to cats, it's the one where it's the immediate thing. So they do definitely need to have either eaten before, you know, they do need to have eaten just before it. But for my cat, so long as she eats her food throughout the day, I don't need to panic as much. So that was a relief for me as well, because sometimes, occasionally, she doesn't eat straight away and I really worry that it's going to cause issues. But I've been told that with the insulin that she's on, it won't. So whew, that was a relief. But on the Monday, I had to take them both to the vet, which was a job and a half. And of course that was, you know, I had a bit of drama as well, because I dropped off the dog and I dropped off the cat, and then I got a phone call about the dog to say that she could potentially be having a oh, what is she doing now? Stop it. She could, this dog, any way she can make a noise, she'll do it. Oi, stop it. She's looking at me going, what did you stop me for? Turns out she could potentially have been in a phantom pregnancy. Now they didn't know for sure, but it's better. Oh God, she's now pinched some fabric. It's better to be safer than sorry. I'm going to have to pause you again. Oh, this dog. I won't be a minute. Ooh, how disorganised is this video going to be? Well, the dog is now in the on the so-called naughty step because she grabbed a piece of fabric and did a runner with it. So yeah, so I might have a few moments peace. Yeah, so they phoned me up to say that there was a possibility that she was going through a phantom pregnancy. Now, they couldn't be sure, but they suggested that we gave it a week. And then, so I'm going back with her tomorrow for them to see. And then if they're sure she's not, or she's come out of a phantom pregnancy, then they'll carry on with it. But yeah, so I had everything prepped and ready for her to get her up, and she got a week's reprieve from it. Although, to be honest, the timing was pretty good because I went up to my mum's for this weekend, and I would, you know, obviously I have to take the dog and the cat with me when I do that, and it meant that the dog got to enjoy, you know, going to the beach and all of that, and she absolutely loves it on the beach. She just goes, if the tide's in, she just goes straight in there, and if it's out, she just goes running along, you know, on the beach and chasing after birds and whatnot, and she just absolutely loves it. So it, you know, it was nice that she got to do that. Got plenty of exercise. And the cat has now, after the fun that we had around New Year's, she's now settled straight in whenever we go to my mum's now. It's only when I stay over there that I have to take her, but she's not stressed anymore now, so she eats absolutely fine and I can inject her no problem. But yeah, so that has been you know, all the drama of the past couple of weeks. I'm not going to go into work because, as in, I'm not going to discuss work in this because I'd you know, I'd just rather not be thinking about it. It is what it is. And if I were to start talking about it, it'd be an hour later, and that is not good. How many stitches here do I need to do? I've just decided to carry on stitching there and not actually concentrate on what I'm doing. Right, so I've got to the top there and I am along there. So what I think I will do is put this over here and I will start down here and make my way up. Now, I have absolutely no idea how long I've been talking to you because I have been going back and forth with this dog. But I think that's, do you know what, I think I might leave it there. I've given you a pretty good idea of everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks. It's been, you know, it's been an adventure. I mean, it's nothing, I know I make it sound like it's so dramatic and, you know, it's all drama and all of that, and it's not really. It's all been, you know, it's just little things here and there that have happened that have, you know, just little annoyances, but an amazing Stitchy retreat that I really, really enjoyed, that I hope to be enjoying again in September, and I hope to see a lot of the same people there again because, as I said, it was just so nice and everybody was just so welcoming, and yeah, it was just nice to be sat with people who enjoy doing the same thing I do, and I didn't feel awkward about it, and I got quite a lot done actually. I was very very happy with the amount I did. I've just got to get the animals sorted. Oh, the last thing about the cat is, so they did the glucose curve on her over the day, and I did have to reduce down her insulin to basically one of the smallest doses you can give, like 1 unit twice a day. But I've got to do it again next week because they think potentially, now I'm not betting the house on this, but potentially it could be that she has gone into remission for diabetes, which does sometimes happen with cats. Fortunately, it doesn't really happen with dogs, but with cats, sometimes they can go into remission. And if she has, that'll be brilliant. But if she's not, the fact that she's on 1 unit is good, because, you know, like the less you need to give, the better it is. So, but we'll know on Monday. She goes in again for the full day, and they basically just test her levels throughout the day. So here's hoping that, you know, potentially it could be good news and she no longer needs insulin, because that would, you know, it would be brilliant for her, obviously, but also it'd be quite nice for me not having to, you know, having my life ruled about having to inject her twice a day, and give me a little bit more freedom and also enable me to have a little bit more of a lie-in. But, you know, even if I do still have to inject her, you know, whatever, but mainly it'd be good for her. So yeah, I think I will leave it there. This was never intended to be a long stitch with me. It was just basically because I wanted to stitch, and I thought I'd drag you along with me, as opposed to you having to, you know, stare at my ugly mug while I went through everything that had happened in the past couple of weeks. If you have made it to the end, you know, congratulations, you poor people. You probably gave up listening a while ago, but I hope that you are all doing well, and that you and yours are all safe and happy, and I will hopefully see you the end of April, start of May. I don't know what I'll have stitched on, because like I said before, I have absolutely no idea what my plans are. I do know that I've just done this stitch in the wrong place, which is also a very good indication that I need to stop doing this so I can concentrate on my stitching. And also I need to go and give the dog a bit of attention, because really she's just been wanting a bit of attention, and it's, you know, so I'll do that. But yeah, I will see you all soon. You know, I'm terrible at ending these things. I never know what to say, so I will just say this. Goodbye, everybody. I will see you all at the end of this month or the start of next month, and happy stitching.